Shaw here again, your friendly local constitutional coop from the San Francisco Peninsula, and another interesting subject for our video today, and that's the use of artificial intelligence. And the more I think about this, and I'm not in love with it from the start, by the way, which is a story for a different video, but we could save a hell of a lot of money in the quote-unquote judicial department of government if we just simply put AI computers in there to take care of most of the business, especially with pro se litigants and their specious, frivolous proceedings. We don't need any state bar fucking bastards in black robes to be able to tell us our pleadings are specious, frivolous, and without merit. And these are unopposed pleadings, by the way, meaning that in an adversarial common law court, we win. In the accusatorial courts of a civil law system like they still have in France today, exactly the opposite. You're presumed guilty there. Sound familiar? That's why we have the English common law and a presumption of innocence and an adversarial government if we can get it back. But what the hell? You put in these AI computers, they can work 24/7 around the clock, a hell of a lot more efficiently. And all you have to do is program them to understand the word specious, frivolous, and without merit. Petition denied. Don't need a reason, don't have to have any logic behind it. Denied, see you later, have a nice life. I mean, how does that work? They don't get paid, they don't have to take vacations, they're on duty around the clock, and you can reserve the real courtrooms and the quote-unquote real courtrooms and the real judges, aka black robe bastards, to artificial corporate entities. And that's exactly what this system wants to do anyway. And it has from at least the Reconstruction era. And I'll be talking about that a lot more. But yeah, that's it. We don't have a chance in hell in their corrupt courts, aka administrative tribunals. Luckily for us, the justices of the current court have been on the warpath going into their fourth term coming up in October, an all-out assault on the administrative state. And they're doing the right things for the right reasons, and the mainstream media is all over them because they don't understand. And to the justices, all of you, I'd recommend you tell the American people exactly what you're doing and why. You didn't overrule Roe v. Wade. Couldn't have. Never existed. 14th Amendment case, see you later. We go there under different provisions of the Constitution, like the 9th Amendment, Article 1, Section 10. Now we have something here because there are, for example, a right to an abortion. And while I'm personally not in love with that, I think the ultimate court there is going to be the court of conscience. When you get where it is you're going in the afterlife, you may have some things to explain. But that's not for us to be concerned about here. Matter of fact is bringing a child into this world with all the power that Congress thinks it has these days, they could pass a law making giving childbirth felony child abuse. Why would you want to bring a child into this world? I'd love to hear it. And I never have. And 40 years ago, when I started out, I realized that what I was doing was much more important than family. And I said, well, if that's true, then I have no business having one. And I haven't. And I'm the last of the line. They're going to love that in Washington, D.C. But I realized that. And by the way, for a good example of this, take a look at the video called John Adams with Paul Giamatti in the title role. And it talks about his time in France in the 1770s when he was away from Abigail and their 4 young children. And I want to read the book of their correspondence. There is one out there. I haven't gotten it yet. And see if Abigail understood what he was doing in France was more important than family. Wow, that's saying something. But at the time, it was true. And what I'm doing is, so I've acted accordingly with it. And you can learn a whole lot more about all of this. Send me an email, uwinnincourt@gmail.com, and I'll get you information on my modestly priced constitutional defense document packets and how you can get out there and start to take control of your life, which is the last thing they want to have happen. They want total control over us. They think the relationship is not principal and agent like it started out, but guardian and ward, otherwise known as master and slave. And here we have that great 13th Amendment that did away with slavery, right? How is it that we're all slaves today if that's true? And you think about that, then you got the BS civil rights crap from the non-existent 14th Amendment. And the major objection there, especially for you LGBTQ types, is the invocation of those kinds of rights comes at an enormous expense. You have to invoke federal, regional, martial law rule. That does not work in sovereign, independent states admitted into this union. It may in federal insular territorial possessions, and it may in our territories, like Puerto Rico at one time, Cuba, Mariana Islands, the Philippines, territories like that. Different questions, but not as different as you would think, by the way. The Supreme Court, and we'll talk about this in another video, recently effectively overruled all of the insular cases from the early 1900s. And they said, terrible law then, terrible law now. You'll hear all about that in an upcoming video. But in sovereign, independent states, the foundation of our federated Republican form of government of defined and limited powers, federal, regional, martial law does not work. It was never designed to. Completely opposite agenda. And once you understand that, and you understand the 14th Amendment never existed, you can go a long way in standing up for yourselves, your children, and your posterity, and taking this government back from all these despicable demons that have controlled it for at least the last 160 years. And with the Supreme Court doing what it is now, thank you very much. And they're just coming back into term in less than a month now, and going to continue the onslaught on the administrative state that they've been doing, and that affects everything you do. When you read the decisions, and you'll learn how to tell what's really going on here. They had a case there called Axon in the last term, AXON, unanimous. You read that and you don't know what you're reading. You'll think that you're reading a case out of a traffic court or something like that, or maybe a child procurement services court. It's all the same administrative state with no oversight, no independence. They own you. You have no rights whatsoever, and that's what has to stop. And as quickly as we can make it happen, and we have a window of opportunity now where that's possible. That's why my work is so exciting at the age of 75, which I will be in a couple of weeks. And I still have a good 8 or 10 years here, family history being what it is, to see if I can really get us around the corner and way further down the road before I go out of here. That's the goal. And I can teach you how to do it and continue my work. It's great stuff. So that said, remember to like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. Send me an email for more information, by the way, youwinningcourt@gmail.com. And we can go from there. And with more videos coming up, look for those to be up and posted in a couple of days here. Thank you.